If you're a late bloomer, inexperienced, or a virgin, this video is for you. And we're going to start with a mindset that you need to hold. But most importantly, we will get into actual practical how-to advice so you know what exact actions to take. Now, it's essential that you view each and every single step towards getting to where you want to be, losing your virginity or just getting better with women, as significant, because it really is. If it wasn't, you would have already, had a lot of women in your life. So if you plan it, this will take some time. Your expectations will be in a way better spot. So your goal should be the action and not the outcome. Because going on your first date is huge. It's a big win. It shouldn't matter if it doesn't go anywhere. It proves it can be done and is therefore repeatable, which you will get better at over time. This mindset is what builds momentum, and it's so essential because I know, at least for me back in the day with dating or just a lot of different things, the biggest risk to me not progressing is just getting so discouraged and hitting a road bump where I just kind of shut down and say, screw this, and push it to the side. And that's like the biggest threat. And I bet a lot of guys can resonate with that. So if you just plan accordingly and have the right expectations, the likelihood of success is going to be way higher. So let's start with getting you on some dates. And the best option is still going to be dating apps. Like going to bars or anything like that, it's still going to be too challenging for now. So use the most popular ones in your country, which you can tell by just going to the app store and viewing by download totals. You can also just go to your city's subreddit and I'm sure that question has been asked before on it. Now, the main thing is getting the absolute best pictures that you possibly can, at least 3 of them, and having one at least with being a very clear shot of your face. And I do have a free ebook linked in the description. It just breaks this part down if you need some extra help. It's fine if family or friends are in one of them. You can blur out their faces if you want to, but you want to have at least one mirror shot or selfie. It may seem weird or whatever, but I mean, you do have full control how you turn out on a selfie or a mirror shot. So you can just try different lighting, try different angles, take 100 different ones and then pick the best one. And it's probably at least decent. And if you really don't have any pictures, one thing that I did, and I was really surprised how well it turned out, is I actually faked an activity shot. So I literally set up a tripod in my kitchen and it was a picture of me cooking, and I was just chopping vegetables, and nobody was home to take the picture. Nobody was there to help me. And I just put it on a timer and chop. And it actually turned out, I wish I had the picture because it actually turned out really well. And I've seen others do the same thing. It was just them with their dog. Again, it feels weird, but if you can actually make a good picture of it, that can be the difference of getting attention or not. Now, since your goal is to get that experience, which it definitely should be, you might want to drop your standards a little bit. Dating apps are very, very competitive. If you're a 7, you typically are going to get attention from 6s. That's just how it is. But if you could just focus on getting the experience, that just takes the uncertainties and worries and everything away. That how do I chat with women? How do I get the date from it? How do I get the second date? How do I communicate and all that stuff? And that's creating you probably a lot of stress and worries because you just haven't done it before. And just getting your feet wet and just getting out there and actually going on dates and everything, that's going to solve a lot of that's going to make a lot of progress that you're not making right now. And then after, you can raise your standards back up again. Now, I want you to go all in on this. 20 minutes a day at the minimum, just swiping and messaging. Don't expect anything for the first month, although there's a good chance that you'll set something up. Use 2 to 3 apps, ideally one of them being a paid version if you can. It's not necessary, especially if you are using multiple apps, but it does help. As far as the ideal opener, the best thing is to just scan their profile pictures or their bio and look for something to bring up. Only spend 5 seconds on this because a lot still won't respond. But if they mention they like hiking, ask if they've been to a trail nearby that if they have a dog in their pictures, ask what breed it is or comment on it. Or if they mention they like gardening, you can ask what they plant, just that sort of thing. And the conversation should be how you talk to anybody. There's no reason to overcomplicate it or just doing anything out of the norm. Just chill, laid back, maybe curious about certain things about her, not rapid firing questions, maybe having some humor, but other than that, it's just pretty chill. After a dozen exchanges of messages, just say, we should grab a coffee or a drink sometime if you're down. And then just suggest a place and a time and you're good to go. So in terms of what to wear for the date, if you really don't have anything a standard pair of solid jeans and a white t-shirt, literally if they fit well, that can be perfect. But if you don't have a style, if you have the financial means to change things up, standard that I would suggest for like 95% of guys is to go for the rugged workwear type look. That's the name of it. There's also like Americana is kind of like that, heritage workwear. It's kind of like Carhartt. It's things that you would find at like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops, along with like a lot of stores that sell actual workwear. But it's like, you know, a Detroit jacket, plaid shirt, you know, long sleeve, roll it up. That's always, you got to roll up the sleeves, just that kind of thing. You know, I should probably make a video on this. If you need some examples, let me know, and I'll find some and I'll link some in the description. But yeah, that's good. And H&M is good too. It's kind of a different style, but it's like super cheap, and it's like the clothes turn to shit after you wash them like just a few times. So I usually just like will have a handful that I just wear on like occasions or whatever when I need like a really well-fitted shirt. But again, they're like dirt cheap, so it doesn't really matter that much anyway. But other than that, you know, trim the nails, your beard, get a haircut if you haven't for a while, just the basics. Get yourself ready, looking good, looking fresh and clean for the date. Now, when you go on the date, I don't want you to think of anything else other than just having a really good conversation with somebody and getting to know them. Keep it chill, laid back. I don't want you to put pressure on yourself to do anything else. That's what it should always be, even after your experience too. Like, just no need to flirt or tease. Just chat to build a connection. Also, you shouldn't go for the kiss either. I mean, the first date is a vetting process. You don't know if she likes you yet. You don't want to add that like stress and worry about having to like make a move and go in and potentially be rejected and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do that on a second date or third date, because you know if she's, you know, wants to go for a second or third date that she actually likes you to some degree. So it's probably going to work out. But yeah, it's just the vetting process. Also, understand that first dates, like, they're kind of a weird dynamic. Like, it is weird to go on a first date. Like, just, you don't know somebody, you both clearly want something, want a relationship or whatever. And it's so easy for it to just be like an interview-ish. So, you know, if it feels a bit awkward, it's completely fine. Most of the time, you know, that awkwardness will like dissipate after the first 5 or 10 minutes. And I know for me, like, it was hard to just be myself, especially, you know, my first dates when I was in my early 20s, that I didn't really have much of a personality, or at least I didn't really identify that I did. So I just tried to imagine, you know, how I talk to a really good friend of mine, which is usually like full of like inside jokes and shit. But just like that, just being relaxed, and just, even if I'm a little bit sarcastic, even if my personality is just a bit out there, if you can just kind of imagine how you talk to a really good friend, you know, that's your personality. And if you can just kind of replicate that to some degree, you'll be in a pretty good spot. Now, a really quick disclaimer before I kind of dig deeper into all this. I like to give advice that's like step by step, just for reference points. I know a lot of guys are really clueless, because I know that I was very, very clueless. And a trap that I fell into was I would just be so analytical. I would break everything down, and like everything was a strategy. And that's kind of like missing the point, because it's actually just two people that like each other, that like to spend time with each other, and then continuing to do so will progress things, and you don't need to overthink it. But I know a lot of guys, like, they naturally will. So I will just like, if you're worrying like, okay, how much time should I, you know, have in between my messages? If, you know, how often should I reach out? It's like, okay, I'll give you the information, but don't overthink it like this. And in terms of like messages, you can just mirror what they're doing, but otherwise, yeah, don't overthink it. So with the first date being like a one-on-one, you're just chatting to build a connection. The second one, I like to do something fun or activity related. So your focus is on whatever it is that you're doing, like mini golf or playing pool or bowling. Actually, I have a clip that I hope I can find, that I'll play right now, that of my girlfriend just like throwing the ball and it going straight into the gutter. But, you know, that's like perfect conversation that you can just have nonstop conversation, because one of you will probably suck at it, and you can just keep talking about that, and it just kind of removes the pressure, than just like having to worry, you know, where the conversation is going or anything like that. Now, depending on how things go, you can maybe suggest having a drink after, or, you know, you can do that first, and then, you know, that would make the activity a lot more fun. And I've always been more for the third date, for when you can potentially hook up. And I think it's generally best, a good rule to go by. The second should be, or the first is obviously the connection. The second is to do something fun and activity related with potentially something more. But otherwise, yeah, I think the third date rule is still pretty standard and something that you should have your general plan as. Now, in terms of setting up the third date, an easy way to do this, I mean, you could just say, let's just chill at my place or something, and then say, you know, we can figure out what to do after, and then just like stay at your place and then make a move. But something that makes it a little bit easier is you can, during the first or second date, just like ask what shows or movies that they like. And then after the second date, sometime when you're texting, just like saying, hey, do you want to come over to watch this? I haven't seen it before. You don't really have to overthink it, but it's just good if you really need an excuse to just set it up that much easier. Now, making a move can be nerve-wracking. Like, I would have loved if women ever did that, but you know, if it is for you, something that I inadvertently did once, because like, so my neck is always sore. I've probably been grabbed it once or twice during this video, and I've got arthritis. And anyways, I was rubbing it once, and then I made a joke to the girl that I was beside that she should give me a massage. And then like right after I said that, I said, you know what, I'll give you one first so it's fair. And then they came in between my legs, and then I massaged them, and then I ended up like kissing behind their neck, and then everything just started to ramp up. And that's a pretty easy way to do it. But again, like, if she likes you, it doesn't really matter. You could just like reach over and go for it, because whether or not she is, it won't matter how you do it. But understandably, it could be nerve-wracking, so just do that. It makes it a lot easier. But that's it. That's really it. It's fairly simple. You know, if they don't hook up on the third date, they'll probably do it by the fourth, since you set the expectation of it. You know, if you want to wait longer, that's cool. That's up to you. If there's anything I missed out, I kind of like glossed over. I didn't really gloss over. A lot of it is covered deeper in the ebook. But the fact is, it's just pretty simple. The main thing is the dating apps, best possible pictures, and you play the numbers game, and you're consistent with it day in and day out. You know, things will start happening at least like after the first month. And hopefully this took out some of the guesswork. You know, over time, you also just like, you can keep improving your profile. You can keep getting better pictures. You know, you can maybe adopt that style that I suggested and incorporating that into a picture or two. But that's basically it. If you do need a little bit extra help, I have some information in the description. I offer coaching, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.